What's going on, my comrades? Alpha Commander 227 back at you again with another operator review. We're going to be switching things up to Overwatch as promised. And also as promised, I'm going to be talking to you guys about Zarya. She's by far my favorite hero in the game, but I'll show you why that is, what you should do with this character, good strategies to implement, and overall value. So as usual with all of the characters in Overwatch, she has one primary weapon to choose from, that being the particle cannon. Honestly, guys, this is one of the best guns to choose from in the entire game for both offense and defense. It is especially designed well with Zarya, with there being two ways to use it. One way is called the energy grenade launcher, and the other is what's basically nicknamed the laser beam. Honestly, it all depends on what the firefight is like at that moment of time. If the enemy is trying to push up onto your location, or if you're trying to close the gap on if you're trying to close the gap on the enemy yourself, then go with the laser beam. It would just be the better way to go. But other than that, the energy grenade launcher will be your best option for medium to longer range sightlines. Now as for her side gadgets, you have two particle barriers to use. And since this is what Blizzard likes to call them, that I'll do the same. The first one you can put on yourself, and the other you can put onto your teammates. These barriers take up every bit of damage that can be thrown at them for a maximum of 2 seconds, and can cover you and your teammates' bodies completely, which explains why they're so powerful. I'll explain later why these can literally carry teams to victory. She also has a passive ability, like about half of the characters in Overwatch, and it's like this. Damage absorbed by the particle barriers will increase particle cannon damage. This ability is the reason why Zarya's gun is so damn lethal, and I'll get into details about that later into the review as well. And to finish off the overview, she has low speed, 200 health, and 200 shield, making her the lowest health tank in the game. Zarya's ultimate ability is basically like a tornado funnel, the core of Uranus, and a giant magnet merged into one and had a kid. It's officially called the Graviton Surge, and the way it works is that once your ultimate is charged / primed, you press Y on the Xbox One, triangle on the PlayStation 4, and whatever the hell you guys use up on PC, to fire out the ult just like you would with the particle cannon's energy grenade launcher mode. It can go really far if you arc it up a lot, but in most cases that won't be necessary, and you should generally use it as a way to clear up the objective, not to stop an enemy push. It sucks people into the middle of an ultimate vortex, and it does very small damage over time, about 20 damage in total, at least once the ultimate is done. But once you capture a few enemies into this vortex, you have to fire at them no matter what. Otherwise, the ultimate is basically meaningless. And I'll get into why Zarya's ultimate is so important to be used with coordinated teammates later on. It can suck people in from moderately far away though. And just in general, it's going to get very, very high marks. At least at the very end of the review, since honestly this is just one of the best ultimates in the entire game. But let's get back into detail about her weapon real quick here. First up, the laser beam. It takes up 1 bit of your ammunition capacity for what feels like every 10th of a second. So that means for every 1 second, 10 bits of your energy will go away. 10 full seconds with just the laser beam will make you have to reload. The damage you deal, however, is slightly less than the energy grenade launcher for every hit. So you are going to have to keep the beam on target. Otherwise your ammo will go dry and you'll lose the target. And finally, for her grenade launcher, I just use this more often than not because of its knockback abilities. The fact that it does just a bit more damage than the laser per hit, and I can use that medium to long range. Although when people I do want to close the gap, or people close the gap on me, I just use the laser. It takes up 25 bits of ammunition for your weapon per shot, so you only get 4 launches per reload, but it's really not that big of a deal unless if you're in a really frantic situation. Now let's talk about Zarya's role to the team, and how to use her in the best way possible. Well, I think it's safe to say that she's very flexible, and can be used for both offense and defense to great extents. But when your gun is at 0 charge, you actually have to be aggressive. Find ways to make the enemy shoot at your barriers so that your gun will become more powerful. Yeah, sure, the charge on your gun goes down by 1 every second, but that still doesn't change the fact that you should be in the front lines, helping your team win gunfights and just picking off the enemies before they can charge up to your team instead. She really is best while being played in the front lines because you can put your shield on teammates who need help, and you'll gain more damage for your weapon. And if you want some detailed information on what the enemy's defense is like, place a barrier on you, take a peek, get that intel, and you'll be safe while dealing more damage for a short time. This is for playing with her on the attacking team, but on the defensive team, still stay on the front lines, but I'm sorry, I probably made a typo there, but use her with your ultimate, use her as a crowd control operator, but don't do it too much. Pick people off slowly and surely before they can come even close to the objective. And now you're thinking, whoa, Alpha Commander, you said don't go on the front lines on the defensive team and pick people off while crowd controlling. Well, yeah, I kind of did say that, but don't always be on the front lines. Don't always be the one who gets there first and always stays in the front, because you'll ultimately just die. No pun intended. You'll ultimately just die, and you'll have to go all the way back to your spawn, back to the objective, and then the enemy will push up from there, making your role meaningless. Make sure that once you take your peek, kill off a few enemies, and don't be greedy about it. Just fall back. You really have to stay alive while playing as Zarya, because she is an extremely crucial operator to keep around, simply because of her shields, her gun, and her flexibility. Now, I've seen a lot of Zarya players just simply using her ultimate as just, that one perfect moment to get a quadruple kill. And really, these moments are few and far between, even while on the attacking team. And it's just not really all that effective most of the time, unless if you're coordinating with your teammates. Now, why is that? Because simply picking off 2 enemies puts you at a massive advantage. And that's because the spawns in this game are just located so freaking far away from the objective that having only 4 players on 6 is a game-winning difference. I've seen so many enemy teams just push up even while after I kill 2 people with the Graviton Surge, and then we get a team kill, they'll all have to fall back and regroup. It's just insanely powerful. Also, without a Lucio on the enemy team, it will be ridiculously hard for the enemy to support their team in the push towards the objective, since the characters in this game besides Sombra, the new one, Tracer, and Lucio, move really slow. Now let's get into how I scored her, starting off with her weapon. I mean, really guys? How could I not give this thing a 5 out of 5? Why is that? Because I can use this thing at any range, and you can too with practice, and that's because in close range, I could just simply use the laser beam to melt enemies' faces off. And with the freaking energy grenade launcher, I can just zap people at a longer range, at least once I get the arc down. Now, it does take a lot of practice, don't get me wrong. I've had to practice a lot in order to hit my shots all the time at a longer range, especially when the enemies are at low health. But trust me, when you get it down, you can use this thing at any range you want, and it's powerful. Also, what's really nice about it is that it can go through Reinhardt and Diva's shields, except for the energy grenade launcher. I'm talking about the laser beam specifically here. The laser beam on Zarya's gun can go through Reinhardt and Diva's shields, which is very, very powerful. And also, lastly, it has a big ammunition supply with a reasonable reload time. And It's just a very, very flexible weapon. I just really cannot say more than that. For her side abilities, I'm also going to have to give her a 5 out of 5 because they can protect your teammates from any harm and any device, except for Sombra and her newest EMP. And they can make your teammates even stronger than what they were. If that wasn't enough, you can protect yourself from all harm, and your gun will deal more damage if you block bullets for yourself and teammates. And as for ultimates, I'll give it a 4 out of 5 because without teammates, and if you fire at the wrong time, you're going to get yourself killed. I've seen it happen many times. I've had it happen to myself too. And while yeah, it's still powerful, it can get rid of lots of enemies for your team. In general, you have to coordinate with them, and there aren't many situations, sadly, where you can do this. Unless if you're having friends playing with you, or you've got a mic yourself. But nevertheless, guys, it's just one of the best ultimates in the game. Finally, for her versatility and value category, I'll give both of those another 4 out of 5. Because while she is slow, has only 400 health compared to other tanks with 600 and 500 health, and you need to practice with a grenade launcher a lot in order to use it at long range efficiently, like I said earlier. In general, she is still a very valuable character to have, simply because no matter what, you need to get rid of a lot of enemies quick and easy on the objective, and her ultimate is the best way of going about it. Also, she's an absolute one-man army. I've had games where my teammates never went as a healer, and still went on a 25 kill streak. It's utterly insane, guys. If you practice with Zarya and become good with her like I did, wow. It's just so disgusting. You will get kill streaks like from freaking Call of Duty. It's ridiculous. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this whole thing. It took me quite a while to make this video, so I hope you thought of it being helpful. I tried making it as short as possible because people absolutely demanded it, but so I will try to do so, and I hope you guys will have a good day too. See you next time. Peace out, soldiers. See you on the other side. Oh my god! That was crazy. Pin him, pin him, pin him. Dragons. I need help with Conqueror. 14-year-old by his age. Because he can do that.